Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of Delta Media Group's Tech Tuesday. I've got something cool for you this week. So, we've been getting requests for this for a long time, and I'm kind of happy to finally be able to show this to you because, this solves a bunch of problems in a lot of different places. What we've done is we've enhanced the Save Search system so that instead of relying on customers to save their searches through the DeltaNet, through the public site, and saving them with all their criteria and then getting the email notifications, you can now save them through the DeltaNet. Now, I know what you're thinking. You could always save them through the DeltaNet. Yeah, you kind of could, but now you can save them with additional criteria. You can force one to go out instantly, so when you set up the Save Search, you can fire it off right when you set it up with all of the current results, and then go back in, and then they'll ultimately receive one every time a new thing comes in that matches their Save Search criteria. You can go back in and modify them. You can even define specific listings that you would like to leave out of the saved search. So this is a cool one. But without further ado, let's go into the DeltaNet and I'll show you how it works. So to set up Save Search, you'll set them up basically the way you did before, which means we'll go down to Customers and Customer Center, and we'll find the customer we want to set a Save Search up for. So let's go with Jimmy McGill. We'll set him up with a Home Finder email. And Home Finder email is just our name, our system's name for the Save Searches. Now keep in mind that anywhere you can click on his name, you could get to this profile page and set up the Saved Search. So you could actually do that from your home page as well. So if I'm on the Welcome page, and I go down to my customer activity. If I have customers with recent activity here, I can just go down here and click on it. Or I could also even get there from my Process Leads page. Go into Process Leads, find them based on whatever criteria I want, and click on their name. And that'll take you here. Now we'll scroll down to the Saved Searches and Market Watch Reports section. And you see I have some set up in here already. As it is, with the existing Saved Search I have, you can click on Manage to go in and modify this existing Saved Search. But in this case, we'll start from scratch and build a new one. So I'll go to Add a Saved Search. It's going to take me over to the Saved Search page. I promise. There we go. And on the Saved Search page, I can now choose basically the options that would be available to me on the public side. So I can either set this up by the name of a market. So I would just click here, type in a market name, and it brings up the autocompleter where I can select from my results there. Something to keep in mind with this one is, well, it basically works the same way as the public side one. So you can go in with this quick search, you type something in. On this site, we're not seeing actual live data, we're just seeing test site data. So you're not going to see all the same things here in my example that you will. But when you go in and set one of these up, you'll see city names and counties and subdivisions and everything from all over your own area. So you can go in here and select your area, and it narrows the listings below automatically down to the area you chose. Now I can also go in here, and if I want to narrow it further, I can add in additional areas. Now keep in mind, when you're adding areas here, what it's doing is it's not really narrowing, it's adding additional areas. The main function for this is if I wanted to go in here and add, say, 3 or 4 different school districts. I could go in here and just type in the school district name, pick it, type in the next one, pick it, and add them all to the list, and then my results set down here would show all the results from all of those school districts. So it's not really narrowing like that. And that works basically the same way the public side search does. My other option, let's go back over to, bounce my mouse around for a while, there we go. Back to Jimmy's profile page. Now if I go down here, I can add a saved search and choose by radius as well, and that'll give me the radius map, where I just have a circle and I can define the location and the size of the circle and do it that way. Or I can click by area and I can draw a polygon. It's just a point-based deal. Everywhere I click, it puts a spot, I close it, and there's my polygon, my ridiculously shaped polygon. Next, and there's my polygon area. So it's only showing results from that. Similarly to the public side Save Search system, I can now go through here, I can define property types, so I can do statuses here. If I wanted to return, if you have data for coming soon listings, I could check that here and it would narrow this search to only coming soon. Those are kind of few and far between though, it just depends on whether you have data or whether your site has data for those. I can narrow it by land, and you see that expands out. So if I wanted only single family, or if I want only land listings or only residential land. So you have all these same options for property status and property type that you have on the public side. And you can see that this page down here updates as soon as I select something up here. I can go to property details. I get price, beds, baths, all the standard criteria there. Again, all stuff that's available on the public side. And then same goes for filter options. So these are all my home filters that also are available on the public side search. And then lastly, once I have defined, so let me pick a couple of things here, just so you can see what they look like. Let's do the old tried and true 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And now as I put in all the criteria, because this is a test site, you see I don't have any results for these. But when I go over here to search summary, I can see a summary that shows all of the criteria I have chosen under any of those drop-downs. So that way it's really easy for you to go in, make a bunch of selections there, and then go down to the bottom, or go down to this search summary and see everything you've selected without having to jump through every one of these menus and find it. So there we are. Go through your search summary. Now once you've got your search all set up the way you want it, you can go over here to Save Search Settings. We can give the search a name. We can have email notifications on or off. So let's say, for example, we want the customer to be able to log into their account and bring up the results of this search, but we don't want them to get any emails. We can leave that turned off. You see we don't have any additional options. So we would name it, leave that turned off, hit save, and that would be all there is to it. If we have email notifications turned on, we can choose how often we would like the system to check for new listings. So instantly means it's checking all the time. If it finds any new listings that match it, it will send an email out to the customer. We can choose whether or not it will include open houses. So those would be like at the end of the week when there are open houses that come up, it'll send out an email notifying them. Even if there aren't any new listings, it'll notify them if there are any new open houses. And lastly, I can select to send the results now. If I select that, it's going to send my initial set of results here when I click the button down here. And from that point forward, whenever a new one comes up, it'll send them another email with the new listings. If I don't have this selected, when I save it, it's just going to save, and it'll only start sending them when new listings come up that match their criteria. So those are your options there. The additional thing you can do is if I say send search results now, I can put in a custom message. And what this message will do is appear at the top of that initial email. So it'll send them the email that has all of the first set of results, like everything that I'm looking at here, the current set. And then at the top, it'll have a heading that is this custom message. So that'll fill in the top of the email. And then you click Save Search and Send Results. It'll send them out the results and keep that search saved so that when new stuff comes in, it'll send them emails automatically from there on in. All right, so the next thing you can do here, let's say that you're modifying an existing saved search. So you come in here, you're looking at the same page I am, and let me get some results up here. There we go. Take our prices out. There we go. So let's say that I'm modifying Jimmy's existing search. So I came in here, I'm looking at a search that was already set up, and the only thing I want to do is he's notified me that he thought he was interested in listings from 150 to 300,000, and he's changed his mind. Now he only wants to see 250 to 350. So I would go in here, I would go to property details, I would change the price, and then if I don't want to go through the rest of the settings or change anything else, I can just go over here to the right, and I can click on the little floppy disk icon here. There are people now that don't realize that's a picture of a floppy disk. Kids these days, man. Anyway, click this, and that'll go ahead and save the search for you. So you don't actually have to go through the additional search settings. You just want to save it quickly. You just click right here, and that saves it. You can see the little tooltip pops up when you roll over it. Now the last thing you can do here is when you go into this and you bring up these search results, let's say that by looking at these listings that there are some that the customer is just not going to be interested in. So let's get rid of let's open my Polygon up actually. You'll see you can go in locations and edit that polygon so you can modify searches once you've created them. So the idea here is the versatility of this whole thing. But let's say I'm looking at my search results, and based on what I know about this customer and what I know about what they're looking for, I can see in this list that most of these match the technical criteria for what they're looking for. They're in the right area, they're in the right price range, right number of beds and baths, but I know that they're not interested in owning a planet. So I can go here and I can click remove from email, and that takes that one off the list. So I can do that for all of these. I know they don't want a football stadium either, so I'll remove from email. They don't want a logo, remove from email. This one doesn't have any pictures, so I don't want to send that to them, remove from email. So now that I've removed all those, I can send them this result set, and it will exclude all the listings that I've chosen to exclude from it. So that way I can custom tailor the search results that will go out to the agent. The system will also keep track of those removed listings. So if I go back in to edit this later on, I'm not going to have to remove those again. Those should already be gone for me. So that way I can send them a set of results and set them up for email notifications, and then let's say in a couple of weeks I notice something pops up, or maybe they don't remember getting the last email, and you talk to them and they say they want you to send them the results set again. You can go back in here and it'll remember the ones you've excluded and just click send, and you would do that the same way, back to save search settings. You would check the send results now box, type in your message and say, hey, I'm resending you this, and then click save and send results, and it would fire them off. Now also, if you've cleared out listings by accident, you have this button here that allows you to remove those listings you've cleared out. That way you can kind of clear out that setting if you remove something by accident. And there you go. So that is all there is to it. That is the new Save Search system. As always, if you have any questions or concerns about the new Save Search system or anything else, feel free to give us a call or send us an email at support@deltagroup.com. You can also comment on our Facebook or YouTube videos, and to get notifications of these videos when they come up, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel, or follow, like, and share our Facebook page, and you'll get notifications when these come up. So thanks a lot for joining me this week, and I will see you next week with something new and exciting.